Welcome to the Building a Better You podcast, presented by the Garner Chamber of Commerce Young Professionals. I'm Nick Spindler with Community of Hope Ministries.
And I'm Chris Morgan with Grow Local Realty.
The goal of this podcast is to help young professionals develop and grow into successful business people in their communities.
In each episode, we will talk with local business leaders to provide strategies and tips to help our listeners.
So let's dive right in. Welcome back to Building a Better You, and this week we have with us in studio Taylor Scruggs-Smith from Whitaker and Hamer Attorneys. How are you doing today?
I am good. How are you doing?
Doing great.
Welcome on board, girl.
Hey, Chris.
So the first thing we have to ask you, because we know everybody is dying to know, is you have to have a crazy story that you have been a part of or heard of as an attorney. So without getting yourself in trouble,
Right.
what can you share with us?
Oh my goodness, so many stories, but what can I share without breaking confidentiality?
No pressure.
No pressure at all, because this might not even be that funny, but it is to me. So without breaking confidentiality, one of the funny stories I always end up sharing is we were doing a title search for a closing.
Mm-hmm.
The buyers at that time had informed us they were married, so we were like, double checking stuff. And in the process of this, we find out they're technically not married. So we had to tell a couple that have been together for like 30 years they weren't married.
No.
Here's the kicker. Can you take a guess of why they weren't married?
Somebody was already married?
No,
They didn't
I have a
sign.
different story for that. So they signed their marriage application, but they never turned the signed application in back into the state. So according to North Carolina, they were just two random people living together. And they had been together for like 30 years, had kids. Like it was kind of like not fun to share, but also
Already changed the last name?
I'm pretty sure, like, there was something going on. I can't remember
That's
all the
wild.
details, and obviously some details I can't share, but it was like, we were all in the office just like, how did you forget that part?
Right. There's one important piece.
Piece.
Yeah.
And then kind of the reverse of that is two other stories. In a closing again, and person signing all their docs and just stops and says, well, I guess I should tell you I am technically married. Isn't there such a thing as common law divorce in North Carolina? Had been separated for like 14 years. Never told anybody she was married.
Whoa.
Agent walks in and I kind of have to be like, I'm so sorry. This ain't happening.
We need another signature.
And we're gonna need a free trader. We're gonna need some other things. So I gotta go tell the lender. You have fun with this. But on the topic of like finding out somebody was already married, again, without breaking confidentiality, had a client that came in for a consult, and it was about a divorce. And in the midst of me consulting with that individual, ended up telling him, hey, don't worry about anything, because it turns out the person you're talking about was already married before they married you, and didn't get divorced until after you two were already married. So didn't divorce husband number 2 until was already married to husband number 3. So that's bigamy in North Carolina. It's not a thing. Can't happen. Yeah. Of course,
I'm speechless.
These are the funny stories I get. I'm telling you, family law attorneys, even more than real estate. Real estate has crazy things, but family law attorneys could write books if we could do it without breaking confidentiality.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like the things we see in here, nobody would believe.
You just got to start like a TV show or something.
Nobody. I think I had a consult before where, they were breaking up because of incompatibility in the bedroom. That was the main issue.
So do you have a preference that you choose between the other, whether it's real estate or family law?
I'm not going to say I have a preference because, as you just heard, family law can be stressful. Mm-hmm. And I mean, hearing all these stories, you still have to deal with the situations. So I find real estate sometimes is a nice kind of getaway from that, especially with people's emotions being high in family law and, a little bit more heavy than, people just being happy about buying a house.
Right.
Of course, they can get angry now in real estate too. So when they get angry, I can go back to family. So it's like I have a balance a little bit.
Wow.
That's awesome.
I couldn't only imagine.
Oh, the things
Walking into that closing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that poor agent.
I'll say that.
I don't even know what I would do.
What would even be on your radar? Like, that's not even close.
You're like, oh, I'm bringing in my clothing basket.
Yeah,
We're having a good
literally,
time.
literally. Had a sign, gifts, everything.
I cannot imagine.
Most of the time when we think of like attorneys or things like that, like we do think of buying and selling a house.
Right.
But we also think of like when we're in trouble with the law. But, you know, there are a lot of other things that y'all can do to help young professionals, to help businesses and business owners. So like, what are some of the things that we might not think of that we could need an attorney for?
Specifically when it comes to, you know, business owners and small businesses, things like that, most people don't think about getting an attorney to help set up the business. So making sure you have your LLC properly created, you have the proper docs, you've got all that together. You know, you may not need an attorney too much after that, but, you know, making sure everything start good and you have a good foundation when you start your business and things like that. Also, you know, if you're a business that is going to be interacting with the public, you probably want to have an attorney look over that contract you're going to have people signing as your client, or if you're going to have any type of waiver, things like that. Because again, everyday people aren't going to think of the exact terms that may get somebody out or the loopholes you're leaving in those type of documents. So, you know, those type of things. If you're buying a business from somebody else or selling an old business to help create a new one, you know, you want an attorney involved to make sure you're actually signing over things correctly. But in terms of small business, that's a big thing. In terms of, you know, everyday individuals, you probably want an attorney to do your will. And most people don't think about getting wills done nowadays. But that's something that we've really been encouraging people to do, especially since COVID, that, you know, kind of changed how fast we were unfortunately losing people. Having those, I think that made me get my healthcare power of attorney, because it was like, oh, wait, who are the doctors going to call? My grandmother. Nope. We got to change this. My godfather's up the street. He can actually be in the room. Like, we're going to change this real quick. But, you know, you don't think about those types of things until something bad happens. And sometimes by the time something bad happens, it's too late. So, like, just having those type of things prepared for yourself.
We know who to call.
Can you tell us a little bit about the positions you have at Whitaker and Hamer?
Chris, don't look at me like that.
What?
I feel like you wrote this question. So, obviously, I'm an attorney at Whitaker and Hamer. So, I handle family law, I handle real estate closings, I handle civil demand letters, HOA demand letters, things like that. Outside of, you know, my regular caseload, I'm also the marketing and administrative director for the firm. So I'm handling all of our marketing in terms of social media posts, video recording for our podcast, Judica County, and for, you know, our commercials on Facebook. Chris has been to every single one of our networking events, and I plan all those, get those together, do the marketing for people to come out to those, try to keep our Facebook and Twitter and Instagram active. And then I also do administrative. So I help out on HR and doing training people, getting people in, helping, you know, create the memos and kind of workbooks of this is how you do this, this is how you do that. And then I'm also helping on accounting. So, you know, doing the trust accounting, which is like really, really big for lawyers. So making sure that's all matching up and the right money that came in went out to the right person, that type of thing. So yeah, that's kind of all of my hats. I
got a question. So are you working at like 5 a.m. to like 5 p.m. or, you know?
Do you sleep?
Yeah.
Sleep is relative sometimes. I think Monday I ended up working 10 hours. So it's a thing sometimes, but sleep would be nice. But
so is with Whitaker and Hamer, you guys have multiple office locations,
right?
And they are between, from, you know, if you're local to the area, Raleigh, Garner, Fuquay, Goldsboro, Wake Forest.
No, not in Wake
No.
Forest, but it is all the way down to Gaston. So
Gaston.
Gastonia, we have an office in Gastonia. We just opened Moorhead. So Gastonia, Moorhead.
So how many offices total?
I think we're at 8 or 9 because it's Gastonia, Moorhead, Raleigh, Garner, Clayton, Goldsboro, Fuquay. I am missing one, and Josh is gonna hurt me, but I can't remember what's the other. We have a lot.
It's okay. Yeah. Yeah. So are you, I'm assuming in your role, you oversee all of these offices, or is it now?
And not so much in a certain sense, because there are people in those offices that are like helping do the day to day, to where I just have to worry about the accounting or the overall firm marketing. So I don't have to do too much in particular with like everyday offices. You know, our partner Joe Hamer is at Clayton, so I don't really need to worry about Clayton. They have a partner in the building.
Right.
So things like that. Mainly right now, I have to really focus on Garner and Raleigh. But then I do things that affect the entire firm. So that's more of the administrative things,
Right.
or, you know, HR, watching stuff like that.
So I'll be honest, just hearing about your normal caseload to me sounds a little overwhelming. So what do you do to manage your time with all those different things going on?
Don't forget to throw in the fact that you also have to go to the courthouse.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you do what strategies do you have to help manage your time?
Talk to Josh first thing in the morning to see if he's changing my schedule. Josh, don't fire me. But to see like where he may need me the most that day, and then try to plan around that. So for instance, today I think I had about like 4 or 5 phone appointments, and I was just like, okay, phone appointments first. After that, what can I be doing in between them if I get done earlier than I thought, or things like that. Or before they got started, it's like, okay, what fires in a certain sense do I need to put out now? And they don't, and when I say fires, I don't mean like, oh, my files are crazy or nothing, but what needs the most immediate attention.
Right.
And I try to send out those emails first, make a plan with my paralegal for things she could be doing throughout the day that don't necessarily need me to be immediately looking at, but that she can go ahead and, oh, we need this from our client, or we need this from the other side, they ain't done yet. Like, those type of things. And then in between, you know, double checking that I have a post going on Facebook and I have something going on the social media.
Yeah.
So to-do lists are kind of my best friends.
Is there any app or like something that you use to manage a to-do list or calendar or anything like that you love?
No, I don't use an app because I would be the person to forget to go back into it. So I'm a paper person when it comes to those to-do lists.
Let's go,
Like
baby.
Chris,
That's what I'm talking about.
But also, I think in a certain sense with paper on to-do lists, it's more fun to be able to like, yes, done, and like mark it out aggressively and know you're done. And you can't really, it's not like we have a flip phone where I can just be like, like can't do that as well anymore. So, but like having my pen and being like, that's done.
It's a strike through.
Done.
Yeah.
Like that makes me feel a little bit better. Helps with my anxiety of like,
you accomplished something.
Right.
I was saying that there's studies that show you get that like little dopamine hit, you know, when you cross that rush of energy.
And
I will
then,
tell
like,
you what
even for
sucks.
my trips, like my actual vacation trips, like I'll make a quick little to-do list of, okay, what needs to be done next to make sure
You're prepared for it.
I'm prepared for it.
Yeah.
So like I'm planning a vacation right now. So like I was just joking with my mom how like part of my stress relief like this week is when I go home. I'm like, what else needs to get done for my vacation? Because this is more fun to plan. Book a dinner. I can do that.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I love that. I was saying how your when you're doing your to-do list, what sucks is when you have to have something on that to-do list that you couldn't get done that day, and then it has to go to the top of the next day's to-do list. Oh, that is the worst.
So honestly, because of how that happens to me, I don't do a to-do list for the daily. I just make a general one for the week.
Okay.
Because that way it's like, okay, I know I can't get to this, but I can get this done today. And it makes you feel a little bit better if stuff has to go to the next day, because you know you did the other stuff that you don't have to do later in the week anymore. So if my to-do list typically at work are about like for the week.
I think I should start doing that.
Yeah.
I mean,
it doesn't make you feel as bad when something goes over to the next day, because you know you still got the full week to get it done.
Right. And one thing I love you said is you look at your things and think like, what does not need to be done by me?
Right.
And so I think sometimes we can get caught in the trap of like, I have to do all of this. And especially if you're working somewhere with a team of people, there are people there to support you. And so it's like, what can I take off of this list to pass to somebody else to lighten the load on me so I can focus on the more important things that I need to do?
Right. Like I had a meeting with my paralegal yesterday, and I'm not going to lie, being able to go through all of our cases and figure out what needs to happen and know that I didn't have to do each single one of those things by myself was very like, okay, this isn't as overwhelming as we thought. Like this is, we're a little bit better. This still is a lot though, but like, you know, it's a team effort. And then for especially Whitaker and Hamer with the civil criminal team, as we see a lot of growth in our business, like we try to keep advocating for each other of like, okay, yeah, we might be different paralegals and different attorneys, but we're still the team. So if you got a lot going on and I finished my to-do list, what can I do to help you type of thing? Yeah. And I think creating that environment kind of helps with, you know, pressure and being overwhelmed and things like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You got to be able to talk to people. Like, look, I'm tired. Yeah. Help.
Well, and that is huge though, because sometimes you feel like if you ask for help, you're failing. Right. You know, and so it's good to have a culture where you know that you can do that. Because I mean, we're all going to come into that place at some point. Like, there's no way that all of us are going to be able to handle every task we have every day. Right. And, you know, you don't have to try to be like Superman or Superwoman, you know, like to have that team around you. Like, that's crucial.
Right. Like, my paralegal's amazing. She will literally look at me some days and be like, you look stressed. Okay, so we're not going to schedule more than 2 consults tomorrow because you need admin time to work on everything, fixing your schedule right now. And then if she gets overwhelmed, she's like, can you please send this email for me? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just cleared out my stuff. I'm good. Let's go. Like, so it's not even about position. It's just about how can we get things done type of thing.
Well, and it's good because at the end of the day, y'all are trying to get to the same goal.
Right.
And so it's like, if you got to all your stuff done, but your paralegal didn't, well, then you didn't really get to the end either. And so, like, realizing that and working together, like, that's huge.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That's how I am with, like, going on vacation. I'm like, oh, man, here we go. Let me delegate this over to these people because I mean, like you just said.
On vacation, I'm iffy. I'm just like, I'll plan the place and the flight. You can plan all the activities once we get there. I just need to know how we get there, where we're staying. We're good. Okay.
No, not I.
You're telling me when to be there and where to be.
Yep, exactly. Exactly.
No, because I really don't need an itinerary on vacation. Because if I have itinerary, I can't sleep in.
You can make it really nice, though.
No.
Oh.
So
my itinerary on vacation is to not have to wake up and do anything on a schedule unless it's like, oh, I had to book this because it's like an event type of thing and like, or it's a concert. But if I can just wake up and even though I woke up at 7, I can just lay here in my bed until 10 and I'm good and there's no problem. Yeah, that's great.
Oh, lucky. Sorry.
Or let's just like, my boyfriend is a person that'll be like, you know what? Let's just go exploring. No clear goal in mind. Let's just go browse. Sure. Let's go.
Okay. No, I can't do that.
She takes that hat off. She does it all day, every day at work. She's got to take the hat off at some point. So
very true fact.
Well, that's really good, though. That's really good. I mean, it shows who you are as a person. So awesome. I like that.
So we have 2 questions that we like to kind of land every episode with. And so our first one is, what is the best piece of advice you've ever received?
It's gonna be a hard one. I haven't been to church too much. There's a lot of good tidbits. I done been to church. I got military family. You hear a lot of good things. Okay, it's gonna be my mom, of course. My mom told me one time to, you know, just remember you can only fix the things you can control. If you can't control it, let it go.
Whoa.
And to this day, I still struggle with that, and she has to remind me of it. But it's like remembering that certain things aren't your fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I struggle with that all the time because I'm a fixer. I'm like, no, what do you mean? Like, I can fix this for you, and it wasn't my problem to begin with.
Yeah, I'm 100% in that boat, too. That is a daily struggle with me.
Right. So remembering that, you know, if it's not something I can control, like, if it's not something I can, like, be like, oh, I can move this on my own, but no, I can't move this. This is yours. You have to move it. Like, yeah, it's a struggle, but that's probably the best piece because, like, when I remember that and I can just be like, oh, yeah, this isn't me. I ain't got nothing to do with this. Okay. So stress, just bye-bye.
Go. Yep.
Absolutely.
Let it go. I mean, and I feel like even though in your business, it could be even what you do, you know, working with kids and working with food pantry and all the people that we come in contact with, and even in real estate, we also have to do the exact same thing. You know, just let it go. If it's something that's out of your control, you can't continue to try to fix something or put a Band-Aid over it. Just, you know, step away, breathe, and it's going to be taken care of by somebody else.
Yeah.
So I understand that. And then the second question that we like to ask is, what do you utilize every single day, whether it's a personal thing or a professional thing, to help you be better?
To help me be better. Y'all are asking tough questions. This is like the Oprah show. You got to be ready.
Podcast.
It's like Oprah and Barbara. You just got to be ready for the tough questions.
It's funny though, when you said let it go last time, I was thinking of
Frozen.
Yes. Gotta bring it out.
Following up a hard-hitting question with Elsa.
Yeah. It's okay. I have tons of this.
I wanted to sing, but I was
Please
like, I'll leave that one alone. I'll let that one go.
You'll let that one go? Great segue. Professionally, I guess I would just say, like, I'm always willing to learn. Mm-hmm. Like, so I keep a lot of books, or I look around for, like, okay, what's the newest thing? How do I keep myself up to speed? Yeah. But just as a human, I realize I'm the person that if I'm wound too tight, I'm like not as nice, or I shut down. And I like talking to people, but if I'm stressed, I don't want to deal with nobody. So, you know, to keep my nice, happy social self, I go home to my dogs and I'm just like, oh, puppies. Like, and I'm saying puppies, like I have small dogs. I have a giant German Shepherd that like just literally will climb into my lap
and
lay
like
her.
Babies anymore. They're big.
No, my other dog is still kind of a baby. He's not 1 year old yet, but
Gotcha.
He's the loud one. He is very much the loud one. But my sweetheart Luna, like, she was the one that will, like, literally the other night she jumped on the bed, laid her head on my stomach, and she didn't move for like 2 hours. And I was just like, oh gosh, she fell asleep. I can't move. Oh, look at the sleepy puppy. And I'm like hitting my boyfriend. I'm like, look at her. She's so asleep. And he's like, man, I don't like her. She was mean to me today. So, you know, like puppies and dogs are always happy to see you when you come home. I try to go home and, you know, do something fun with my boyfriend, like kind of just laugh, watch something stupid.
Law and Order?
That's not stupid. But we have been watching Law and Order, but then we make stupid jokes about it.
Gotcha.
Like,
that's not real. That's not real.
Yeah,
not real.
I think I stopped the TV one day and I was like, what that just did? Yeah, that's how my day was. That part's real. The rest of this is fake. But I do things like that. You know, I try to watch Disney. I watch my dad still gets mad at me because he'll be like, let's watch something like this. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to watch any TV show right now. That's the goal is to make me cry or angry. Like, I want to relax. Yeah. But I do stuff like that because for me, it's like I can't be a better person if my brain is so overwhelmed that I can't even process what's going on in front of me. And that could be like I can't even process that I need to cook dinner. Like, right. I'm also a video game person, so Mortal Kombat's a great stress relief. Mortal Kombat's a great stress relief. I'm like looking forward to the new Hogwarts game because I'm like, ooh, I can spend hours doing this.
I'm a big fan of Call of Duty right now.
I would literally watch Keith play that and then laugh when he dies. I'm like, you didn't get the dude that was camping yet. And I know you don't play Call of Duty, but I'm going to let you roll with it.
I can't picture him playing.
I do. You
do
not.
I would pay to see that.
I don't play on like Xbox, PS4, but I am a Call of Duty mobile. It's just really
that sounds
easy.
Horrible.
It's really
that
easy.
Exists.
Call of Duty mobile.
Yep. I just want you to know every Call of Duty fan that watches this is going to want to fight you. Like, they might get together and buy you a PlayStation 4 or something just so you can play like a regular person. Like, you don't even get to trash talk on your headset. What do you mean?
I don't need a headset. You just press the mic button and you unmute yourself and you just start talking. It depends on if somebody can hear you or not because typically most of the folks are muted as well. So,
who do you play with that people are muted? Watching my boyfriend
I
and
play
his
online.
People, I know they do too, but watching my boyfriend and his best friends play a Call of Duty is the most hilarious thing ever. I don't think if you like when you are in your house and you hear grown men yelling at each other and you can hear both sides from across the room, that is just pure comedy. Pure comedy.
Yes. That's my go-to right now. Good old Call of Duty Mobile and my heater right in front of me. Keep me warm.
Keep you warm.
Yeah. I can't believe you just laughed at me.
We all laughed at you.
I can't believe we're getting ready to end a podcast on you playing Call of Duty Mobile. That's a
Don't sleep on it.
Put that on your YouTube channel. You know, we want to see a video of that.
Oh,
You still lost at Uno though, so it's okay.
we're not going to talk about that.
So on that note, thank you so much, Taylor, for coming out here. This has been awesome. We've enjoyed talking to you. And as always, please go rate, review, subscribe. We hate saying it, but it does help this get out to more people.
Don't forget to go see our friends over at Whitaker and Hamer.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes,
please.
Need anything when it
If
comes to attorney needs.
Right. You know, if you're in trouble with the law or, you know, if you need to set up your will, which, yeah, probably need to go do that. So
I know, me too. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. So
I'm telling you, or you a realtor, you might need your LLC set up.
that's right. So we'll put your contact information in the show notes too, so people have a way to get in touch with you if they need any of those services. But thank you so much. Thank you all for listening, and we'll talk to y'all soon.
Are you still watching it?
No, I
Okay.
stopped watching before McDreamy died.
Oh, man.
When
Listen.
half of the cast is gone, like you can't
Listen.
even recognize the original people no more. No,
Taylor, listen.
No.
I found out that apparently Gray's leaving. I didn't know.
How did you not know? They've announced that for 3 months.